All right, let's dive into one of those classic, huge questions. It's a paradox that has tied philosophers and theologians in knots for centuries, and I'm willing to bet it's one you've thought about too.
You know the one, right? Maybe you've even found yourself asking it. It's a tough one. If there's this all good, all powerful God out there, then why does the world look like this? With all the suffering, all the injustice, none of it seems to add up.
But what if? What if we've been chasing our tails this whole time? The source material for this whole deep dive suggests that the reason we can't get a good answer is because we're asking a bad question. The problem isn't with God or with evil, it's with the words we're using. So to really untangle this, we've got to start with the biggest word of all. We need to completely redefine God. Okay, so first thing, throw out that image of a guy with a beard on a cloud. The idea here is that God isn't a being that exists. God is existence. It's everything. The total thingness of it all. The very isness of the universe. It's not a thing in the picture. It's the whole canvas. And this simple switch, it changes everything. See, on the one hand, you've got your traditional idea, a personal God, a separate being with a personality, an ego, someone you can point a finger at and say, hey, what gives? But if God is just existence itself, then it's this vast, impersonal totality. And how can you blame the totality of everything? It can't have an ego. I mean, think about it for a sec. How do we get a personality? An ego? We form it by relating to other people. The idea of me only makes sense because there's a you. But for existence, the whole shebang, there is no other. It's all there is. So it's literally impossible for it to have an ego. So once you really let that sink in, that God equals existence, that original thorny problem of evil, well, it starts to look very, very different. In fact, the argument is, it just kind of disappears. The logic is actually super straightforward when you lay it out. To be responsible, you have to be a person, right? And to be a person, you need an ego. Well, we've already established that existence, the totality, has no ego. So, boom. Existence isn't a person, and it can't be held responsible for good or evil. The whole idea just doesn't apply. And I love this analogy from the source material. You wouldn't drag a 4-year-old kid into court, right? Because they don't have a fully developed ego, a sense of responsibility. Well, existence is way, way more innocent than a child. It has zero ego. It's like trying to blame the ocean for making a wave. It just is.
Okay, fine. Let's say we let existence off the hook. But that just leads to another, even bigger question, doesn't it? If the universe isn't responsible for all the messed up stuff, then who is? And that's when the spotlight swings right back around to us.
Now, this next idea is a big one. The source basically says that everything we call good and bad, our whole system of morality, it's not some deep cosmic law. Nope. It's just traffic regulations, a set of rules we humans made up so society doesn't turn into a total demolition derby. Think about it. Traffic rules are super useful, right? But they're not some ultimate truth. Driving on the left isn't morally superior to driving on the right. It just depends on where you are. The argument here is that good and bad are exactly like that. They're just practical labels we made up to get by, not some fundamental property of the universe. So, if evil and corruption are human problems, where do they actually come from? Well, according to this perspective, it all boils down to one single core idea that our entire society is built on. Ambition. That's the real culprit. This relentless pressure to become someone, to climb the ladder, get ahead, be more, have more. Our entire society, from school to work, is built on this one drive. And the argument is, that foundation is rotten from the start. And it sets off this toxic chain reaction. Society tells you, be ambitious, go become someone. What's the first thing you do? You start comparing yourself to everyone else. And what does comparison lead to? Jealousy, conflict, even violence. Suddenly, good isn't about being a decent person anymore. Good just means successful, no matter how you got there. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? If you're a small-time thief, you're a criminal. But if you're a great thief, a conqueror who steals entire countries, you're a hero. You're Alexander the Great. It just goes to show you, in a system built on ambition,
Success whitewashes everything. So if this whole ambition thing is the problem, what's the solution? Is there another way? Well, this is where we get to the final part of this idea, a totally different way to live.
The way to actually know God, or, to really experience existence, is to do the complete opposite of what society tells you. It's about dropping out of the rat race. Just letting go of that burning need to become someone. No more comparing, just chilling out, relaxing, going nowhere, simply being. And when you get into that state, that place of just being, something amazing starts to happen. Love shows up. But not the kind of love we usually talk about, a relationship with someone. This is different. It's love as a state of being, like a fragrance that just comes from you with no direction, no address. It's just there because you're connected to everything. And this brings us to one last really crucial point. The real enemy of that kind of pure love isn't hate. Actually, hate and that kind of possessive love are two sides of the same coin. They both come from the ego. No, the real opposite of love is the ego, the very thing that ambition spends its whole life building up. So, we circle all the way back to that first question about God and evil. And it turns out, maybe we were just asking the wrong thing from the very beginning. Maybe the answer we're all looking for isn't a what, but a how. Maybe the real question isn't what is God, but how do I live? How do I get myself into a state where I can actually feel existence, where I can feel that love? The answer isn't some fact you can memorize. It's a way you have to live. And that, well, that changes everything, doesn't it?